Hey everyone, how you guys doing? This is Andy and we are streaming today. It is April the 15th and let's hit the charts. Okay, so right here we are looking at NASDAQ, 2 minute on the left and 4 minute time frame on the right. So reason I wanted to show you this is something that you guys should be doing as you are trying, to place your trades. It's always good to look at a higher time frame. You have a little bit less market noise, and at times you can have a little bit, better entries on a lower time frame. So let's take a look and see what we have today. So on Nasdaq, right before the New York Open, which is this green bar that you see right here. Okay, so what's happening is price is moving up, as you can see, and I love this sequence that I have right here, which is the VWAP, the 200 EMA cloud, and then the EMA's the color sequence is the red, orange, and teal color. So when I see this is really nice because, price is moving up. We did have some news here in the morning, but then, price just continued to go up, right into the morning open. So what you see right here is what I like to call is a triple peak bearish divergence right in here. And I do love divergences. They're very, once you practice and understand, what you're looking for, it's a very easy way to enter and get into the market. So right here, especially, that you can really see how price is making higher highs, where you can see the opposite on your oscillators. Right in here, price is making a, oops, that's the wrong side right there. Price is making a lower high, which is right here. Okay, so, and all I really need to see it is on one oscillator, but I also have it here on the TTM squeeze. This middle one is the TSI, and up on top is the ultimate oscillator right here. Okay, so I wait for the signal, and that's where you can enter your trade. Okay, and then you can follow along on a higher time frame. Okay, and here I'm just kind of showing you on a 4 minute, but you can go on the 5 or a 6 minute. As long as it's something a little bit higher, price tends to be a little bit smoother. Okay, and we'll see some nice examples right in here too. So after this, price moved up right into the EMAs and, started to go down. So what I look for here now between this point and this point right here is for a hidden bearish divergence. Okay. And by doing that, that just gives you a little bit extra confidence that price is heading in the right direction, according to the oscillator. So here you can kind of see this. Price is now making a lower high, and I don't see the opposite on the ultimate oscillator nor the TSI, but right here on the TTM squeeze, you can see how price or the oscillator here went up higher on this end and lower on price action. So you could enter your trade right here. So depending on what your sensitivity is on, you'll get like a trading oracle signal. So right here I don't have a signal, but once I do get a crossover on my TSI, I can enter the trade, which would have been about right here, and you can take that down for some points. Okay, so here's the really cool thing that I do want to share and show on these charts. Okay, so this area right here where the EMAs cross over, this is like that transitional state where price now was in an uptrend and the bias is now changing to a downtrend over here. So what you can do then is once you get a nice sequence in here of red, orange, and teal, on the pullback, you could enter a trade to take that short. Or the next best thing that you can do is you can wait for the pullback to come up and then just wait for a signal, wait for a trading oracle signal. And you do have this, like the perfect sequence right here, as you can see. Okay, you have VWAP on the top, you have the 200 EMA cloud. Okay, if you don't want to use a cloud, you could use just the regular 200 EMA. And then you have your EMA sequence here, red, orange, and teal. And you've got your signal. So you could take this trade coming down. But for me, as always, I like to make sure, even with this, I like to see if there is a hidden bearish divergence. Okay, so I will draw my line from this peak right here down to here, and lo and behold, we do have a nice divergence, from this end to this end. You can see here, let me just remove this line right here. You can see right here how price is making a lower high, and the oscillator is making a higher high. And you can see that also on the TSI right here, and also on the TTM squeeze. It's going up higher on this end right here. Okay, so with that, that's where you gain that extra confidence and confluence as well. So not only do you have this really nice A+ trade setup, with the color sequence right in here, but also the confluence of the divergence in here. And then you can take this trade right down to this horizontal green line, which are pivot points that I have on my chart. So these make great support and resistance levels, and it's a great way to just kind of plan where your trade may go up to next. So on the 4-minute chart, you can really see how much cleaner price action is. Okay, so as price is moving down, you can even follow along on the TSI right in here. So you can see that the bands that make up the TSI, they're wide enough and they're going down. And in this case too, on the 2-minute, you can really see the bands aren't intertwining or just very close together like how you see over here. So it's a really smooth transition to the downside. So in this particular case, you can follow both. Okay, so but if you wanted to go to a higher time frame, you can. And you can see how price looks. So for instance, if I was like on the 7-minute time frame over here coming down, you can kind of see on TSI oscillator right here, you can see price just kind of kissed right here, but then it just continued, and then you can stay in your trade a little bit longer, and then also down here on your TTM squeeze, you're in the in bearish territory here, symbolized by the red hump is what I call them, and you can just take that all the way down just by looking at your TSI2 and planning where to exit. So if you are coming straight down, this is the S2 pivot point right here, so you could have taken this as a nice exit right in here. Okay, so this is what was happening today. I mean, it was just a really nice setup. The sequence on here is beautiful. I wish it, price trades like this every day. This is really nice, and for some of you that are familiar, I've talked about the river analogy. So when you have your EMAs in this sort of configuration where it's the red, orange, and teal and it's nice and smooth, look at it as a downstream river right here. So the river is moving downstream and you're going to move with the current of the river going downstream. You don't want to go against the current because that can get you into trouble. Okay, basically it's like saying, it's saying, not it's like saying, but it's saying don't go against the trend, trade with the trend, move with the current right in here. And, you have more bars, more candles to your advantage, and you can make nicer trades this way. Okay, so from here, I want to show you guys these, another indice here. This is the YM, it's the Dow Jones right here, for those that are not familiar. And we had a similar day today here too. So on this side, I'm going to move to a 4-minute time frame right in here. Okay, so what was happening here, right at the open, before I do that, let me just put in a horizontal line. I always like to identify the 0 line right in here. So that's what you're seeing there, that line. Okay, I'm just going to lock it in place. There we go. So right at the open, look at this. This is really nice. So, just by looking at this area down here, you see how price was just really, moving into consolidation, and the EMAs were really, squeezed together here a little bit. I know that there's going to be a massive breakout either to the upside or to the downside. And in this particular case, you can wait for when the EMAs cross over, and here it just went to the upside. So let's say, for instance, here I want to go into a 1-minute time frame, just to kind of show you what the EMAs would look like also on the 1-minute time frame. So check this out. So even if you go to a lower time frame, your transitional area was right in here on a 1-minute time frame, was right in these areas, right in here. So right in here where you get that pullback, you can easily have taken this, and uptrend position, because you've got your nice sequence. Price is above VWAP and it's above the 200 EMA, and price and the EMAs are fanning out right here. You can see that red, orange, and teal if you're taking a long position right here. Okay, and once again, you can follow as you enter the trade. You can follow on the TSI. Okay, so right in here, even though right here it's looking a little bit choppy right in here, you are way above that 0 line. So you are in deep bullish territory in here. So when the TSI, when you start seeing it move horizontally like so, price is continuing to move up if it's in bullish territory. Okay, so that's another way to enter that trade right in there. So I'm going to go back to the 2-minute time frame right in here. So I'm interested in what's happening, near or just right after the New York Open. This is a great area to pick up a nice divergence trade and, just move with that pattern. So the real interesting thing is right here is that you can see as price is moving higher up right in here, it's a higher high. You can see the shift in momentum in the oscillator right in here. In here we are not getting it on TSI, but you can see the shift in the TTM squeeze right in here. So as long as I find a divergence pattern in one of these oscillators, then it's a go. If you get 2 out of 3, that's extra confirmation, and many times you will see it. All 3 of them will have a divergence, and that's even better. Okay, but I just really need to see it on one. So so right in here on the 4-minute time frame, it's the same thing. You can see the shift in momentum coming down in here, and in this case on the TSI you can see the shift moving down, and also on the TTM squeeze it's moving down. So here is one of those examples where it's on all 3, and all you got to do is just wait a little bit until you find or until you see the trading oracle signal. That's what I like to wait. You can enter on this trade and then plan your risk management, and you can manage your trade this way. Whether if you're trading to the next pivot point, I like to draw in midlines in here because these also make great support and resistance. Before trading, you can also mark your zones in here, like how you see right here. Okay, and you can take your trade right down to the zone. Okay, so if I had a midline in here, and I'm going to draw one real quick, I just go from one pivot point to the other, and I got that little dot right there. That's the middle between this pivot and this pivot right here. And I'll just take my tool, and the major midline I put in a thicker green line right in here, and I just hover over this vertical line that I drew, and then you can see the little dot, and the dashed green line is right on it right there. And you can see how even right here it says midline, on the far right. It's just a template that you can create for these. So the really cool thing about this is if you do have these drawn in, you can use that as a nice reference to exit a trade as well. So the really nice thing about this too is that it lined up perfectly with price action that was on the left. So this is a nice level that price respected, came right back down to it, and then bounced up. Okay, so once again, just like how we saw on NASDAQ, I want to show you what was happening here too. So as price is coming up, it hit the zone right in here. It bounced right off of the midline right in here. Now look what's happening right here. Okay, price is transitioning. It's transitioning from a long position, and now it's moving to a short position. And when this happens, you will usually see a pullback. Sometimes it doesn't go into the EMAs, but I like when it goes into the EMAs, and then you will get like a slingshot signal or golden signal in this case, and you can enter your trade to go down, for a short position. But most importantly, check out the sequence. Once again, it's this nice sequence right in here. You have VWAP on top, you've got your 200 EMA cloud, and then you have your EMA, the red, orange, and teal. Okay, this right here is just like the perfect sequence to take this trade going down. Okay, on top of that, okay, you can either look for a hidden bearish divergence or just a regular divergence in here. So right in here, right where the signal is at, before that, you start to notice the shift in momentum on the oscillators here. So from this peak to this peak, price is moving higher up. It's a higher high. And look what's happening here. From this peak to here, it's shifting lower. Same thing with the TSI and also with the TTM squeeze. You can see that it's really nice right in here. So, and then once you get your signal, you can enter this trade, and either you can exit pretty much where price action is on the left, or you can hold it for some more points coming down. So this is where the higher time frame comes into play, where you can look on the higher time frame and follow along with the TSI and see what's happening. So even on the 4-minute time frame, you have that really beautiful sequence pattern with VWAP and your 200 cloud, EMA cloud above price, and then you've got red, orange, and teal on your EMAs. And as you get to this corner, this little peak right here, on the 4-minute, you don't see a signal on the higher time frame, but you are seeing it on the lower time frame. Okay, so when that signal comes on, you can go ahead and take that trade right in here. Okay, it's just this little retracement was just a pause in the market. Less noise on a higher time frame. Okay, and then you can see in your oscillators right in here, you are below the zero line, and I'm going to put right in here too. You can see this, you are below the zero line. Price just went underneath that zero line to take that trade, and the TTM is in red, and you can follow all this along going down for more points, or right to the next pivot, which is the S1 coming down. But these are some really nice examples of how price moved along today. Okay, let's take a look at SPY. I know many of you like SPY, so let's get on to the SPY right in here and see what happened on SPY. Is everything was just really lovely. Everything just matched. Looking for a bearish divergence, at the open, which you do have it right in here, on the 2-minute, and let's just see how it looked like even on the 4-minute. You also have it on the 4-minute time frame. Okay, I'm just going to put in a zero line. Sorry guys, it's pretty much right there. You can go in here and under coordinates and just change that to 0, hit OK, and then now you're at a 0, and then lock that right in. Okay, so here is the bearish divergence that you can see. Okay, and then right at the open, you got your signal that price is gonna, the bias is changing to the downside. So once again, I want to see, a shift in momentum in my oscillators, and then you can see that right in here. Okay, here we have a little bit of a decline, a little bit of a shift in the TSI right in there, and then definitely you can really see it on the TTM squeeze as price is moving down in here. Okay, so once again, as price is coming down, it's kind of consolidated here for a minute, but you can really follow it nicely on a 4-minute time frame right in here. Okay, the bands on the TSI, let me just go in right here a little bit. You can really see them as they're going down. Everything is going bearish, and it thins out a little bit, but you are deep into bearish territory, so you can follow that, price going down into, if you have your levels drawn in here. If I had a midline in here, this is pretty much just right at center between this pivot and this pivot. Let me just see if how accurate I was right over here. So if I draw a straight line, pretty much right there. Maybe just needed to shift down just a little bit, but oh, I went even higher. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, but this is right there. So I want to show you what happened when that hit right there. Look at that. It's like, price just tapped right into that, major midline and then just shot right back up. Okay, this is also another divergence in here as well. So that was another potential trade that you're counter trend trading at this point if you wanted to take that, but you just have to take the trade with caution because you don't know how high up price can potentially go. So if I'm following the EMAs, or as I said earlier, with the river analogy, if you're following the flow of the river in here, you would wait until you get a signal to go short. And in this case, you have a really nice golden signal right in here. I love these golden signals, and the sequence once again is, you got VWAP, the cloud, red, orange, and teal, and you get your signal, enter that trade, and you can follow along on the higher time frame and manage the trade that way, or if you have like a planned risk to reward, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so even by taking this trade right in here, I would still look for divergence in here. And in this particular case, you do see it. This is making a higher high, and you can see it right in here. This is shifting down. You can see it on the TTM squeeze, and also a tad right on the TSI right in there. And then that just adds more confluence and confidence as you're taking that trade going down. Okay, so I think this is a good area to stop right in here. I hope you guys can test out and back test these the sequence. If you need to learn more about this, you can follow us here on our YouTube station, and there's information down below where you can reach out if you have any questions. Join our Discord. There's many of us that trade divergences, and everyone is happy to answer some of your questions. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you on the charts tomorrow. Take care.